Well, tonight it might ease some tensions. We'll see. Bernie Sanders supporters, though, Sroka is saying that regardless of Hillary Clinton winning or not, the delegates, it doesn't matter. They're going to go to the July convention. And I got to tell you something. Neil, so many people are saying, what is the deal with Bernie Sanders and his core supporters? Do you guys really care about the Democratic Party? Are you in this about ego, ideology? Because you're wrecking the whole thing.
It's an interesting question. No, we definitely care about defeating Donald Trump in the fall, and we want the candidate that we think is going to be best equipped to do that. And that remains to be Bernie Sanders. Listen, folks are still voting today. We have to acquire as many pledged delegates as we can out of this contest. And we'll see after tonight is over, the last big night of the primary, where we end up. And Bernie Sanders should have as much time as Secretary Clinton had in 2007 to make up his mind about the next steps forward.
Well, I think Hillary Clinton actually talked about that this week, suggesting that she made up her mind fairly quickly. She endorsed Barack Obama in 2008, and she helped him get elected. I mean, are you suggesting that Bernie Sanders is that open-minded? Because all we hear is that this guy's going to wreck the convention.
What I'll say is this. I actually was just looking over some emails with some friends back in 2008, and I seem to recall on the night that Barack Obama clinched the nomination, so to speak, as per AP calculations, Hillary Clinton didn't quite concede just then. There were a few days to go. And frankly, this race isn't still over. There are tons of pledged delegates still available in this race. And while it is very difficult for Bernie Sanders to overcome that pledged delegate lead on tonight alone, it's still technically possible. So we got to go through the very end and make sure all voices are heard in this process. And at the end of the day, I am confident that whether the Democrats' nominee is Bernie Sanders or Secretary Clinton, Democrats are going to be united to defeat the billionaire bigot this fall.
Wow. All right. You've talked about these pledged delegates, but let's face it, right now Bernie Sanders' only lifeline would be super delegates, which, by the way, he dissed these guys throughout most of the election process. He talked about how unfair it was, and now here he is, hat in hand, so to speak, trying to flip them. There's a certain amount of irony and some would say hypocrisy to all of that.
Listen, I guess what I'd say is this. You've got to work in the system as it is. You know, Democracy for America, for our position, has long held that the winner of the nomination should be the person who receives the greatest number of pledged delegates. And frankly, we think superdelegates should just be out of this process entirely. But Bernie's got to play the game that he's in right now. Right. He has a right to do it, and we'll see. But at the end of the day, this race is going to be over in a few weeks.
Neil,
whether that's the convention or
let me cut you off for a second
because
I want to squeeze a quick one in there. You just took a sort of cheap shot at Donald Trump. However, a lot of political pundits think he's going to scoop up a big share of Bernie Sanders supporters. Do you disagree?
I vehemently disagree. At the end of the day, Bernie Sanders supporters care about taking on income inequality and making sure we don't get into more reckless wars. I don't think Donald Trump is the candidate to do either of those.
Neil Sroka, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.